Members of Village Seventh-day Adventist Church, good morning.
Good morning.
I am humbled to be among you this morning. I am honored by your warm welcome, and I am forever grateful for your time. I am one among 30 students at Andrews University that will be going to Cuba in March 15, 2019. When Jesus left the earth, he gave us a mission. He said, go, preach the good news of the gospel, not just in Berrien Springs, not just in the state of Michigan, but to the entire United States and through every places, every corner on this earth. But this time it's for Cuba. So you may say to yourselves or to your families or your friends, well, I'm not a preacher. I did not study theology, therefore I can't preach. But there are different forms to evangelize the world. Your money can. You may contribute in supporting this effort to support our mission in Cuba with your money. And for a couple of weeks, if not more, we've been passing out cards, Care for Cuba. In the back of the cards, there are information in places where you can go to donate. Also, the items that we are looking for in donations. Because of the situation in Cuba, bicycles are welcome. I remember when I was in Haiti, I spent the first 18 years of my life going to school using a bicycle. So that tools, I know how useful it is, and it's been working in Cuba and in door-to-door evangelization. So, my brothers and sisters, let us respond to the call that Jesus entrusted us about 2,000 years ago to go to every corner of this planet to evangelize the world.
I'm Jude.
My name is Mac.
My name is Tatiana, and I care for Cuba.
While I was in Cuba, although I didn't know the language, I was still able to feel at home. The people were very lovely, they were kind, and it was just a pleasure to be there for them and with them.
There was this young lady named Judith, and she was getting Bible study for a whole year, but she didn't want to get baptized because she didn't want to accept to keep the Sabbath. And on Wednesday night, the Lord was using me, and when I was preaching on the Sabbath, and the Holy Spirit convicted her, she felt impressed and she wept. And she came and explained to us that she wants to keep the Sabbath, but there's a problem. She's living with a boyfriend for a few years and they are not married. And he doesn't want to get married at the same time. And we said, you know what, our God is able. Let's pray.
I was able to be with the youth at the church and the children. And we put on programs for them, and we watched as the church attendances grew and grew and grew. And it went outside of the church's walls into the city. And everyone was talking about this group that came from the U.S.
As I was walking through the streets of Holguín, Cuba with two of my colleagues, we had stopped at this photography shop where my two colleagues wanted to talk to this man, and they asked me if I could translate for them. As I was listening to their conversation, I heard Manuel wrestling with the idea of getting rebaptized again. I immediately felt compelled to share him my story of rebaptism because I could automatically relate with what he was going through at the moment.
We prayed with her, then she went home and explained everything to him, and he agreed to marry her. The next morning they went all over Holguín, Cuba, trying to find a place to get married. Every place said no. You have to come back in a month or in 2 weeks. She came back to the meeting weeping, and we said, oh, God is able. And we prayed with her one last time. She went back, and right before closing, she found out one place who agreed, that agreed to marry them. And she came back with the paper that night, that Friday night, into the meeting. And on Saturday morning, she was one of the candidates who got baptized in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
So I told my colleagues, listen, I have to talk to him in Spanish, so give me a moment. I told Manuel, and I shared with him my story and how God convicted me of getting rebaptized as a recommitment with him, of not turning back, of not looking at the past and starting brand new with him. Manuel said he would think about it, that he would pray about it, and that he would basically let us know at the end of the meetings. Friday night, during the evangelistic meetings, I saw Manuel stand up during the appeal, just raising his hands and praising God and accepting the call for rebaptism. The next day, Manuel was baptized by God's grace.
I'm Fernando Ortiz, and I care for Cuba. Now let me tell you why I care for Cuba. Because for 60 years, this nation has been ravaged by communism. 60 years of no religious freedom. 60 years of oppression. 60 years of poverty. 60 years of not being able to preach the gospel of Christ. So we thought, how about if we take a group of seminarians and go there on a yearly basis and preach the gospel of Jesus Christ? And two, bring much needed resources for Bible workers, pastors, and the church in general. And it has been a blessing. Yes, for the past 7 years, more than 100 MDiv students have gone and preached their hearts out and tell a nation Jesus Christ is coming soon. But we cannot do this alone. We need students to go every year. We need resources to bring every year. Why resources? Because folk there do not have the opportunity to have books. There's no libraries. The Adventist home, if they have a Bible, they're lucky. So we want to bring a tablet with a library of books inside the tablet. We want to bring a computer for the Bible workers to go and preach different evangelistic campaigns with a computer and a video projector. We want a bicycle for the Bible workers to go from place to place and reach 3 times or 4 times more people than they would do walking. So, I want to tell you, would you join us?
Join us.
Join us in our mission.
Join us on our mission to care for Cuba.